Hello and welcome to Unwinding Minds. Today we're diving into a really important topic, accessibility and forest bathing. Now you might have watched previous videos in this series and be thinking, okay, forest bathing sounds great, but how the heck am I supposed to do this if I'm disabled? Don't worry, that's exactly what we're going to explore in this video today. We're going to talk about the barriers and some of the ways of doing this activity even with those barriers in place. I really encourage people who are not disabled to watch this video as well, because you might come away with some different insights and thoughts. If you're new to forest bathing or curious about how to get started, I've got you covered. You can check out the earlier videos in this series. I've linked them in the description and they're also in the pinned comment below. Getting out of the house may pose a significant challenge for you in your body. And even when you do get over that hurdle, you might go out and find that there are uneven pathways, no pavement, or that the conditions from the weather have churned up the soil or ground, making it hard for you to walk or move. Those things are extremely demotivating, and I can say that from experience. It's okay to be really struggling to get into the swing of moving again if you've had to be indoors a lot. I really want to start today by acknowledging the barriers which make it much harder for the disabled, chronically ill, or mentally ill people to try activities like forest bathing. Right off the bat, a feeling of non-inclusion is a big factor. The outdoor spaces are not built in ways that are friendly for the majority of disabled people. There is 100% a fear, and a fear of the perception of exclusion. Some may feel forest environments are not for them due to lack of inclusive design or outreach. Feelings are powerful motivators for behaviours after all. If you feel that you're not welcome somewhere, that you're too inconvenient to exist somewhere, you're going to want to avoid it. A lot of people feel self-conscious about going to environments where you are meant to exercise. That can be true of those even who are not physically disabled, and whether your disability is visible or invisible, there can be some fear of judgment that might take place if you do go out into the forest and you don't exercise as the primary goal. There are practical concerns too. The fear of getting stuck or injured is very real. The risk of falling, tipping over in your chair, or not being able to turn around on a narrow path can deter even the most determined people from wanting to try outdoor activities, which is such a shame. And for many, there are other safety concerns too. Being in a remote location can be really risky if a medical emergency arises and help is further away. You may lose your phone's signal, depending on where you are as well, which can be both frightening and dangerous in an emergency. Being disabled makes you vulnerable to things that non-disabled people never even necessarily think about. I never used to notice cracks in the pavement or on paths, and I do now. And that's not all on the infrastructure side of things. Outdoor seating can be limited. People like myself with limited stamina or mobility on some days may need to take regular rest stops, which are not always available, especially if you really want to go out into the sticks. Heck, you may not even be able to make it to the trail in the first place. Accessible parking may not be present or may be limited in number. Even if it is present, there may not be ramps, or how about a bathroom? Heck, if you're reliant on public transport, can you even get close enough to an outdoor space like a forest to enjoy it? I think almost all of us agree that everyone should be able to enjoy outdoor spaces, but the infrastructure is not always in place. Much more work could be done to include disabled people more, because there is just so much more planning involved when you are disabled. Most people look online now to check if places are disabled accessible, but the information isn't always there. Outdoor spaces like forests, local parks, etc. should be places that anyone can enjoy. So often I see the focus of being outside being on exercising in outdoor spaces like walking or hiking, running groups, yoga. The beauty of nature can be enjoyed by all. And it's a real shame to limit the options of people who are already struggling as it is. I don't necessarily blame the organisations in the UK that maintain wilderness spaces either, by the way. Many of them are underfunded when it comes to improving accessibility, and still more are trying desperately to get the infrastructure in place. Many nature areas lack the resources to invest in accessible infrastructure. It's not like they're unaware of the issues that face disabled people or that they're doing nothing to improve that infrastructure. It has changed and improved even within my lifetime, and will hopefully continue to do so. Julian Glover chaired the 2019 Landscapes Review, which had several goals, including the preservation and regeneration of natural landscapes, yippee, and making landscapes more accessible for everyone. In response to the Landscapes Review, the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, DEFRA, allocated £14.5 million towards making protected landscapes, national trails, forests, and the wider countryside more accessible for people of all ages, all abilities, and all needs. There are people working to make these changes, working really hard, and an important part of resolving these issues is continuing to advocate for disabled people so that this kind of work can carry on. Advocacy is a huge help with the long-term change, but I do know that most of the people tuning in are interested in what they can do today, not in 5 or 10 years' time. So to those who are wanting to get started with forest bathing, I would recommend you look for parks and forests with the following traits: wheelchair accessible trails, step-free paths, mobility scooter hire and accessible toilets and parking. And there are already places where you can look for this kind of information, like Forestry England's page on accessible trails or the Accessible Resources page on Natural Resources Wales page. I'll pop links to both of those things in the description below. It's also worth checking local council resources or charity websites like Disabled Ramblers UK. There are already groups who might be taking some of the hard work out for you, enabling you to access the outdoors more easily than you perhaps anticipated. We're all prone to overlooking the simple solutions sometimes. I must confess that I hadn't even thought to look myself until I started to do research for this video. Another thing, using adapting equipment that helps you in your body. You don't need to go alone or push through discomfort. There are amazing tools out there like trampers, which are, if you don't know, they're basically off-road mobility scooters. There are also all-terrain wheelchairs, or even just good rollators or walking poles, depending on your disability. And some parks will let you borrow these things for free or at low cost, so just call ahead and ask if that's something that would support you. Next, plan for your energy and comfort. Keep your walk short and sweet. Look for routes with benches or shaded spots to rest, and bring the essentials with you. Water, any meds you need, sun protection, layers, maybe a cushion or a stool. And if those crowds or noise are overwhelming or have a negative effect on you, try to go early in the morning or later in the day when it's likely to be quieter. Don't be afraid to bring support with you. That could be a friend, a partner, a carer, or just joining a group that goes forest bathing. Some groups even offer neurodivergent friendly or sensory adapted sessions, and many allow carers to join for free. Here's a good thing to bear in mind. I said earlier that we tend to overlook simple solutions. Guilty as charged. You don't need a big forest or a national park. Nature's everywhere. A local park, a community garden, even a tree-lined road can give you that same calming, grounding feeling. Forest bathing isn't about hiking. It's about slowing down and being present with your senses in the environment. You can do that in your own garden, if travelling is not suitable for you, that is. And finally, this one's big. Give yourself permission. There's no right way to connect with nature. If you sit by a tree for 10 minutes and just breathe, that's forest bathing. That's valid. That's enough. Nature belongs to you too. That concludes today's episode on making forest bathing more accessible for everyone. Remember, nature does not judge how you engage with it. Whether you enjoy a full woodland walk or simply to take 5 mindful minutes beside a small tree, every step counts. And if you found this video helpful, please consider liking it, subscribing to the channel Unwinding Minds for more gentle and inclusive approaches to reconnecting with yourself and with the natural world as well. I'd also love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below. What's your experience of interacting with nature? How could you integrate it into your life more? I hope you have enjoyed this series. Thank you so much for watching, and take care.